Welcome everyone to the TDM FunCup Championship. It is time for round number 3 and you are watching the final minutes of qualifying here at Austria. It is Webber currently on pole position and it will be interesting to see whether he's able to stay there or not. The gap is 1.5 tenths of a second. In commentary, my name is Omi, delighted to be with you, and alongside me for this one, well, making his first appearance on his own channel, it's Joshua Birch. Hello JB.
Hello Amy, hello everybody. Yeah, what a fascinating round of the championship we've got ahead of us as well. Third round of the weekend, and well, the Red Bull Ring is an exciting circuit and we're racing on the short circuit. Considering that Red Bull Ring is a short circuit, does this mean it's an ultra short circuit?
It basically, I guess, yes. I think that would probably be the correct way of looking at it. It's shortened down to even what we're used to in the Formula 1 world as well. It's Webber, then Burgi, then Jig, Armstrong, Richard, Daniel. George Given makes his debut in the championship, and so does Buck as well. So two new drivers make their first appearance, and they are now getting used to these, well, only a couple of corners really of this circuit here at Austria, of course, the national layout. 1 minute to go though, and the battle for pole position is very much still ongoing, and well, let's see whether anyone will be able to take it. Now, Webber's coming to the pit lane, interestingly, JB. That tells me that he's very much confident that no one's going to beat him. Right now, the closest is Burgi.
Yeah, at the moment, we get it by about 29 thousandths of a second with a lap time improvement on 102.140 as things stand, but nobody really in a position to improve when looking at sector times. But Webber at top with a, by the way, 160 time screen is telling us. That's quite an impressive connection coming through. But yeah, Webber's on the top, current lap time looking stronger as we'll go for one more lap with 12 seconds to go of the session. Drivers just come out of the last corner now and they're going to run across that line. But I'm actually taking a look to see if Richaru actually able to cross that line in time. No, he doesn't. He misses out, Omi.
Yep, misses out indeed. As we make our way through, apologies for the slight lag that you've been seeing on the screen. We're just getting that sorted right now at the moment, as the drivers now make their way through to the end of the session. Little moment further back for George Given, collects it and continues on, and now sends it over the line, and he is in P7.
Yep, so it was over the line then at the moment for George, 103.372. Over it is over the line. Next comes Oscar Book. He went into 8th position, 28 thousandths faster than his previous best lap time. It's a 103.406, but sadly he is last on the timing tower as out the line Sandeep now comes out that last corner. 46 thousandths off in the delta at the moment. Sectors weren't that good, but he's coming to the pit lane, Omi.
Yep, so come into the pit lane. Daniel making his way by 2 and looking now to send it over the line, and we'll see what he's going to be able to do. P6 at the moment, and is he going to be able to find an improvement on top of that as he sends it over the line? No, but Richaru does. Richaru goes all the way up to P4, so that's a great lap with a 1 minute 2.65. So we did get improvements at the end, not at the front, and it's Webber who goes 3 out of 3 in terms of pole positions.
3 out of 3 poles, very, very impressive, but especially here at the Red Bull Ring on the national circuit. It's a very quick launch, and presumably now we'll get ready to go into the race procedure, race 1 of 2. And I'm looking forward to this because the run up to turn 1 is always quite exciting. It's a tight, narrow first corner as well, so I'm expecting quite a lot of action. And Omi, last week when I was supposed to join you, sorry I couldn't, 4 wide action zones. That's going to be even more impressive. And don't worry, by the way, Nina will be back at some point this season. She lives near an RAF base, which I think you can imagine is well, quite difficult at the moment with all the situations around the world. It's an American air base as well. All of the planes are coming in over her head. I know she's watching now, so evening, Nina.
Yes, evening indeed to Nina, who I'm sure will be looking at and enjoying some of the action that is taking place as well. Of course, she's used to seeing what can take place in this championship from all the chaos that we had at Brands Hatch, and then of course we've been over to Silverstone, and now we find ourselves here at Austria as well. So we've had plenty of great racing and a qualifying so far, but 2 races coming up, and that's the great thing about this. You get 2 short snappy races, and we've already made links a little bit to it kind of being a bit British Touring Car style. Of course British Touring Cars has 3, but you know, it's kind of the same. It's nice, short, you get chaotic racing as well, so it's exactly what you really want.
It is exactly what you really want, because it's a smooth, calm, exciting action race, and then all hell breaks loose in the last 15 minutes, so it's kind of perfect for everything to come into it. But just taking a quick look at this one then, to be 2.5 tenths ahead is quite an impressive run from Webber there, as they come back, just waiting for everyone to get ready for the first 2 races.
Yep, getting all set and ready to go, as everyone will find themselves making their way through, and we will take a look at the grid. So it'll be Webber Nirashto on pole position. Your championship leader will lead away ahead of Burgi. Then it is Jig, Richru, Armstrong, Daniel, Given and Buck. Do not worry, I will not be racing. My name will disappear in a few moments from the leaderboard as well. But we will count up, and very shortly we will get the lights that will come on screen, and we will get underway for the first of 2 races that will be coming your way across today. 15 minutes each. And of course, we are going to be seeing Webber, who is going to be trying to extend that championship lead. And we are right now looking down on the grid, looking at the lights. And it is time to go racing for the 3rd round of the season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights on screen. And the TDM FunCup Championship leaves the line, and we're racing at Austria. Brilliant reaction from Burgi, who's surely going to get the inside line, and the top 2 immediately wheel to wheel. Webber looks like it's possibly going to lose the lead by the time we get out of turn number 1, and it is going to be Burgi who gets there, but Webber now will try and come back as we make our way down towards the next braking zone on this circuit. Webber versus Burgi, Webber with the inside line, and Webber regains the lead.
Late on the brakes, nice through the drifting part of the complex that we usually see on a Grand Prix weekend. That inside tight line downhill, but Bugi's going to try and swing it back. The rear stepping up, but it was a good start. Armstrong up already into what was actually 3rd position, but now he's dropped back. So Armstrong made a great getaway. Now he's dropped back. You can see him on the screen. Still side by side at the front though for Webber and Bugi to come through. Buck's moved up into 6th place after starting in 8th.
Absolutely, the top 2 immediately going wheel to wheel once again, but it is Webber who hangs on to it. Buck is trying to move forward. Richru's in the mix. So is Daniel up against Armstrong, and they were very, very close together as they send it out of the final corner and down the start-finish straight. But meanwhile, the top 2 continue their fight as we head down and climb up all the way to turn number 1, and Burgi's got back ahead and he retakes P1.
Bugi back through then on the inside line, very nicely done, but can Webber get the slipstream coming down? And look at Jig just behind as well. Webber's on the inside line down to the braking zone, tight line and should take it. Bugi's going to try the outside, swings back down towards the Vorch curve on the inside, brings it back, cuts him off. Brilliant defensive driving.
Brilliant defensive driving indeed, as they navigate their way by, and this is fantastic to watch. Immediately we knew what we'd be in for, as now they go wheel to wheel once again in towards the penultimate corner and then the final corner, and Webber trying to send it all the way round, the long way round, as we now get through the final turn, and Burgi will hang on but will be in deep in the process. And now here comes John Jig looking to try and get involved. Look at how close this is between, oh, they're basically getting into each other, Jig and Nirashto, and now as they navigate their way by in towards the first turn, it's very nearly 3 wide for the lead, and Webber is being late just on the brakes, and instead of dropping down to 3rd, it's hanging on to P2.
Holding it back, trying to continue on with the action. This is what we like to see. Can he find a breaking point through? Yes, he can. Down the inside, late on the brakes, but still Webber can't get through. Jig's playing this perfectly. Just hold it back. But this is also bringing back into it George Given. Side by side as well, we now see that's Oscar and Richru in a battle together as well over 5th and 6th positions.
Some fantastic racing to start this one off, and John Jig is looking to try and put the pressure on now for P2. So this battle that was going on for the lead now the second and third drivers beginning to fall down a little bit, and it is giving Burgi the advantage at the front of the field. Meanwhile, it is Buck trying to move forward, further back, and it is Richard who is really parking the bus out of the final turn, and Armstrong will be there to try and capitalise too. 3 wide, we go over the start-finish line, and it surely will be the position gain by the time they get down to the first turn from Armstrong, who is moving through and moving up.
Armstrong goes through then, nicely done. There's a little switch back coming. No, there's not. So at the end of lap 3, start of lap 4, it's getting quite competitive as we move further back. Contact and a little bit of speed. 3, 4 off.
Absolute drama. You've got Daniel off, Richard off, Armstrong's off, Buck is off. And that is basically half the grid finding themselves in big trouble, and now they all find themselves rejoining. So that is quite dramatic indeed, and ignore the timing glitch that we have. That's a transponder issue at the moment. It is still Burgi who finds themselves at the front of the field, but yeah, that was absolutely dramatic stuff. We've already seen so much chaos involving multiple cars before this season, and it continued on the previous lap, but now to some more wheel-to-wheel action, because that is what we love to see. We don't really want to see the drivers getting into each other and making contact, but what we do want is fantastic side-by-side action, and Webber's going to hang on to second.
Yep, Webber stays second. Jake's now in third position. The top 4 pretty much now have got, well, as you can see on the screen, 13 seconds from the front now after that contact with half the field. So once again, they can just take off at the front. And Webber was looking to the inside line, down to that braking zone, couldn't quite navigate a way through. Barrage just taking a nice sweeping through the Vutch curve. And to be honest with you, Jake's looking very much relaxed now, Omi. He's just sitting back a little bit, not wanting to push, and just waiting to pounce. 10 minutes still to go. Yep,
10 minutes still of racing to go. And this is only the first race, remember, because there's another one coming straight up after this. So we always, of course, have 2 races, and Webber, who has always been in the mix so far across all 4 races this season, in the mix in race number 5, and it should come as absolutely no surprise as they make their way up to Niki Lauda curve at turn number 1. Now, some people might be wondering, where is Matt Pryor, one of our winners from the opening 2 rounds? He will not be racing due to injuries. We send him our best wishes, and hopefully we hope for a speedy recovery for Matt Pryor as well. But yes, he absolutely showed his brilliance, and I guess JB made the other marshals proud. I'm sure Nina was.
Yes, definitely. But he was at a marshalling event this weekend and got injured. Not marshalling, he fell down after the event as well. So the poor lad needs to get out of recovery quickly, as we still see a battle going on at the front of the field. Still side by side as Webber desperately tries to get the lead of the race back. Just can't get through around the outside. Niki Lauda through Red Bull Mobile. As now just at the exit, he's got so much more power. Control of the wheel was perfect as he comes up now towards turn 1.
The lead is wheel to wheel once again. Is Webber going to be able to have the lead on the outside line, or will Burgi hang on with the inside? They go wheel to wheel to first and second place all over the curve for Webber, and Burgi though is still going to be level. Burgi's actually in fact going to be ahead, so Burgi was able to get the power down and was able to get and consolidate the position. Now Webber's trying to fight back and trying to become experimental with his racing line, but it's not going to work, and we'll still have to follow in the wheel tracks. I guess the kind of situation that you've got here is Webber in second, John Jig is directly in behind in third, so if Webber goes for something that doesn't work out, then John Jig could lose the place.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all now very much for George Given in 4th position, just to try and play this strategically, to try and find the correct way through. So this is going to be completely wide open with still half the race to run as they come over the line. 7 minutes and 40 seconds now. And I think Sandeep just needs to stay calm. He's got control at the front, and Webber, who is looking, well, as you said, all 3 poles, looking very, very strong, and just wiggles the car out over the braking zone, doesn't really take too much curve on the entry, then just rumbles over near the strip, down now towards the turn 3 hairpin. And there's a transponder issue going on again there. It's put Webber back into the lead of the race. He's not, although he did look for the inside line.
Yeah, not quite into the lead.
The corners as they come through.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quite into the lead, but the transponder is predicting that possibly that could be the case. And, I mean, I wouldn't go against it because Webber is looking like a driver who can follow very closely. Same applies to Burgi, though. So that's the interesting dynamic that we have going on between these two drivers. They both appear like a pair which can absolutely run it neck and neck and wheel to wheel, and that's exactly what we're about to see. Brilliant traction off the corner is going to put Webber level as we have 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go with the lead in the balance once again down into turn number 1, and Webber is going to be able to get there. Now it's Burgi's chance to try and attack, and the attack basically immediately comes when he stands on the power and gets his foot flat to the floor, because once again he's alongside and John Jig has been waiting patiently in behind. He definitely wants his chance, and we're back to single file momentarily as Webber gets P1. Now what can Burgi do in response? They're still going for it.
Trying to find through now as they rise up towards Jochen Rindt. Look at this, Jig's looking around the outside at the same time as well there. Bryce on the inside line.
Oh, it's super tight. Burgi trying to absolutely come charging back in a similar way to what happened 1 lap ago, and it's very close as they exit the last turn on this circuit as we now come over the line, and it is once again a push down towards the first turn, but this time it's John Jig the one to watch, because it looks like he's going to take second place with the inside line, and he's going to be able to get there. John Jig moves up to P2 only for a moment though. Burgi fights back. You know how this racing goes, and Burgi still finds himself in second, so we're back into the same order that we were a few moments ago. And now the thing is that George Given is joining the party. Think we've got some lag going on up here in the commentary box as well at the moment, but
trying to join the party as much as he possibly can, still flicking through as they come out.
Yeah, I think we've got some lag going on unfortunately at the moment, so we'll make our way through as we make our way over the line, and George Given moving up to 3rd position. So George Given moves up to 3rd as they make their way by, and it will be now the battle that will go on for the remainder of this race that we will look at. We've had to let Joshua Birch go due to some of the issues that we are having at the moment in time, but we will continue on and make our way by. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite set to deal with. It wasn't unfortunately quite set. My OBS settings need a little bit of a differentiation for it to change. So what we've done is we've had to let JB go, so you all can get fluid gameplay as well at the moment. Do not worry though, hopefully everything will be perfect, nice and perfect, I think would be the critical word, from next time out in round number 4. Daniel up and ahead of Ritrue. Armstrong getting past Buck. So much battling and so much wheel to wheel going on at the moment, and it is fantastic to watch and see. Armstrong makes his way through, stands on the power and gets ahead. Now George Given is going for it up against John Jig, and George Given finds himself in the podium position. Well, how much this will mean to George Given, who we were speaking to 1 week ago. He wasn't racing, he just came in just to have a chat with us about the season ahead, and now he finds himself in a podium spot. Meanwhile at the front, Webber is looking to try and break clear. The gap is 9/10 of a second, so he's looking to try and just pull away. Oscar Buck is ahead of Armstrong as they make their way by. What a race though, what a race it has been. Webber Narashto leading, Burgi second, Given third. So what can Sandeep now try and do? John Jig is definitely going to be looking for a response to try and get themselves on a podium. If John Jig can get there, it would be their, well, 5th podium out of 5. We've only had 4 races. This is our 5th. And John Jig has been on the podium in every single race. Same applies to Weber Nirashto. But George Given would, of course, get his first. Sandy Burgi would get his second. Sandy Burgi only participated in the opening round at Brands Hatch. They weren't with us here at Silverstone last time out. Let's look over to John Jig and George Given going for it into the final corner. And George Given with the inside line. John Jig with the outside. And as they rotate their way by, they're all going to twitch, they're all going to slide, they're all going to stand on the power. And we will continue the fight with about a minute and 15 seconds to go now. Into the final 2 corners, Ritrue and Buck. Buck, another driver on debut. Ritrue, 6th in the championship, a best result of P5, and that was in the season opener at Brands Hatch. It doesn't look like they're on course for P5 at the moment, but a lot can change with 50 seconds on the clock to go. A lot really can change, and now we're wheel to wheel and side by side, down into the first tunnel we were. It's all about the traction race out of here. The traction race, which looks like is going to send Ritrue ahead and moving up to 6th. Buck will lose out and drop to 7th. And great fighting this, but look at the speed and momentum that Buck has. Possibly a bit too much in that case, because he was slightly deep and off the road. We're going to send it over the line, and we will head on to the final lap of the race. The final lap here of race number 1, but stick with us because we've got another full duration of racing to go. Wherever you are watching from in the world, it is great to have your company. It is a battle for the lead that appears to be sorted. The battle for 3rd is not, though, and George Given will be feeling all sorts of pressure to John Jig, who will be looking at the opportunity that he's got ahead. And a big opportunity that he's got ahead as he stands on the power. George Given is going to hang on, or he's going to at least attempt to. John Jig is getting there to the inside line, and they're side by side in the battle for 3rd position. In towards the final few corners. Daniel has had a moment, but he's got a gap in behind. He might just be okay. John Jig with the inside. It's going to be so close between the 2 of them. Weber Nirashto will come out of the final corner to win for the 4th time this season as he takes the checkered flag. Burgi will find himself in 2nd place, and who's going to get the podium spot? It's George Given on debut, who's weaving across the line and celebrating on the rostrum, and he's beaten out John Jig, who's in P4. Daniel is going to be in 5th. A bit of a moment near the end for them. So Daniel had a moment where they found themselves with issues in a similar way that Ritrue and Oscar Buck are. So who's going to get to the line before? It's Ritrue who gets the power down. Buck wasn't quite on the accelerator. Armstrong, P6. Ritrue up towards the line, P7. And Oscar Buck will be 8th. Drama until the final centimetre of the race. And Weber Nirashto is the winner once again. You can add new drivers to the field, but one thing that hasn't changed, it is Weber still on top. And out of the 5 races that we've had, he's won 4 of them. Of course, the other win went to Matt Pryor. Matt in the chat saying, awesome race indeed. Apologies, by the way, for about the, well, first half of this, for some of the lag. Unfortunately, I don't have the absolute strongest PC, so some things do need to be optimized in order to have a broadcast like we did in round 1, which is why we kind of avoided it in round 2, but it kind of worked. In round 3, then we decided to actually go for it, and unfortunately, it didn't work. But yes, we should have. Hopefully, our producer he wasn't added to the server list, unfortunately. So that's why he couldn't. That's why he couldn't get himself in, because there was a little miscommunication in terms of that he was going to be actually producing. But do not worry, we've already mentioned it on air a few times. But JT will be taking the show from next time out with myself on commentary, and we'll see it is to be seen who joins me. We'll hopefully have Nina back at some point, as we mentioned earlier. But with everything that's going on with something called planes and everything around her, her Wi-Fi probably would not be the best. So it would kind of be a bit like what we had in round 1, and it would be a bit like in terms of how you were just hearing JB. But this time around, it wouldn't be my side, unfortunately. So we've just decided that for the next few rounds, until it's all gets sorted, that we can have JB step in and commentate alongside myself. So, it's all quiet, it's all silent now on the circuit, as we now await to get going for the second race. Let's take a look at the chat and what everyone is saying. George, given this was in qualifying, I kept getting pinged, so I got a horrible qualifying. Yeah, not ideal. Matt saying awesome race. And then George saying first race so far, enjoying it, especially going from P7 to P3. Nearly lost the first, but P1 and P2 are too fast. They were too fast in race 1. Are they going to be too fast in race 2? Your answer, everyone, is about to come your way. Final moments to let us know some predictions of what could happen. It has been a great start to our campaign. Webber, as I mentioned, making it 4 wins out of 5 races. He's been on the podium in every single race. John Jig, of course, loses that streak now of being on the podium in every single race, so that's something only Webber can say. Webber and Arashto beginning to run away with things in absolutely, well, what he'll call incredible fashion. Everyone else might not be agreeing with that statement. Okay, we are into countdown mode. As we get everyone on the grid. So what is going to happen is we are about to go racing for 15 minutes of competition. Who's it going to be then? Who's going to take the second race of the day? It is all to play for as they get themselves lined up. It is time to go racing. Will Webber do the double, or is anyone going to be able to deny them? Your answer comes your way when the lights go out. We're underway and racing once again at the Red Bull Ring, and once again it's a charging start from Sandy Burgi, inside line, and this time already ahead by the time we hit the anchors for the first turn. Webber Narashto loses the lead, but will be in hope of better traction to try and come back. George Given finds themselves in third as they make their way through, and now it is going to be wheel to wheel. Wheel to wheel very nearly between Narashto and Burgi as they make their way by. It is Given in third, then we get John Jig in P4, then it's Armstrong, Daniel Ritru and Oscar Buck, who must have had some issues on the opening lap to find themselves 1.9 seconds off the pace. Here is John Jig looking for some room, looking to get to the inside, and the battle that these two had at the end of race 1 continues in race 2 at the start of it, and John Jig moves ahead, and it is going to be them now making their way out of the final corner. So Jig is ahead, Armstrong will be there looking to try and capitalise as well, and it is going to be game on between them. Who's going to make the first move? Jig defends, Given to the outside line. Armstrong being very late on the brakes, and that is a very different line compared to the top two in terms of event off the road, in fact, to try and get better traction for the next straight. As we send it in, Jig is later, and Given will be slightly in deep. Is that going to give the chance to Armstrong, who's going to be wheel to wheel with him? And that is car number 369 ahead of 252. But will that be the case for long? Because they have been very much glued together. And you cannot completely ignore the fact that Daniel's there. And Daniel's now the one trying to do the assault now. Into the final corner. The final 2 corners this is. And it is Daniel who gets ahead. So Daniel gets ahead. Armstrong drops down to P6. Armstrong, the driver who is 5th in the championship coming into today, has had a 6th, a 5th, a 5th and a 4th to start the season. And now, as they come over the line, we look to try and see who is going to be making the overtakes. It's going to be right in front of us. No movement needed of camera. And it's Armstrong who gets on the brakes now as the driver who has the possession of P5. So he gets ahead. Linktree will look to try and capitalise. Linktree will capitalise and will move up to P6. Daniel P7. Very close between them. As they make their way by. And Daniel will be hoping to try get another good result. They'll be looking for their first podium of the campaign. That's not been something that they've been able to get to so far. As we make our way into the final 2 corners then. Fantastic racing all the way through. Off the road goes Linktree, and that, well, it's going to be one of the easier changes that we've seen in position today, I think. I think it is fair to say. Nice switch, nice switch. Oscar Buck. Here comes Oscar. Looking for the move. Up the inside. And not being able to get it all over the curb though in the process. Looking back over to bsky though. The leaders have kind of, well, should I say consolidated their positions? For the moment, they're kind of in formation, aren't they? They're kind of in formation. And you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to curse it so they begin to go wheel to wheel. You know. Let's create some action. Here we go. They're wheel to wheel and banging door to door into the final 2 corners, and a bit of contact made. And bsky is going to be wheel to wheel with Weber when they rejoined. Weber had to go really off the road in the process. Guys, I didn't mean that close. We very nearly instigated a whole contact there. My word. My word, very nearly led to contact. But no, they are glued together. It did work. It did work. My words about saying how they're all just calm and how they're in formation has led these 2 to going wheel to wheel. Oh, it's going to be a moment. It's going to be a moment for bsky. And Weber will get the power down. I mean, he's being shown as our race leader. He is actually our race leader. So while the transponder was glitching around, the transponder is correct now. Weber moves ahead, but bsky fights straight back. And it's very close and very tight between the pair of them. And bsky is going to move ahead with the inside line and with the lead. With 10 minutes to go. John Jig is there now. As he looks to try and capitalise. They're side by side. Onto the grass goes Weber. That's how brave he's feeling. Brakes early. Tries to get the cutback. Does it appear to him? No. They're still behind each other in terms of the positioning on the circuit. They've not been able to get alongside as Weber. Jig has not been able to get involved yet, but Jig is waiting for the chance. Jig has got the best view in the house at the moment, watching these 2. Basically a boxing ring right now, going for it. A boxing match taking place right in front of us. bsky with the inside. P1. Weber will try and change all of that, but Weber's line was compromised there. You would have seen that bsky would have been compromised with a tighter line. It gave Weber the momentum, and it's giving John Jig the chance to get onto both of them. It is pass or B-pass stuff. That's usually a phrase I'm used to saying in Formula 2 and Formula 3. Yeah, that's back this weekend. Oh, a moment further back for Linktree off the road. So is Daniel. Drama between the pair of them. But meanwhile, Weber Narashto looking for the outside line. He's much alongside this time. And he's going to send it a long way round. This would be an absolutely fantastic move if he can get there. Into the final corner. He couldn't. And bsky hangs on. But is super wide with his line. And now you hear them come over the line. Who's going to have the advantage? I think John Jig's onboard is the absolute best, if I'm honest. It lets you see everything that's happening between them. All the lines they're taking. And John Jig, I mean, he just made a mistake, so he might need to look further back. Oh, now we're looking ahead because George Given gets past due to the moment. John Jig fights back up the inside at the same time as well. Webber in deep and Burgi with the lead. Burgi to first, Given to third. Webber, Nerashto and John Jig lose a place. You're really having to stay on top of this one, aren't you? There's so much to follow. If we look further back, Guess is also in the party. Armstrong's there. It is very much like Silverstone, this one. Action everywhere you look. We're in Nerashto into the braking zones. Flicks the car up the inside. And it doesn't work in this case. Let's look at John Jig trying to get in there. Armstrong P5. The top 5, all dueling for the win with 7 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to go. And now Nerashto fancies the opportunity on the grass, on the curb. Not with the ideal line through one. Will that change on the exit? Oh, it's, I mean, within range. It's still super close. And it will definitely change a few more meters on, though. I can definitely assure you that. Because Nerashto gets alongside, but the way the racing line works is, and the way this circuit works is, in these specific cars as well, because I mean if we put Formula 1 cars here it wouldn't be quite the same, so I'm having to give you this extra explanation as Burgi gets the lead, but the way it works is, you know, you have a car going ahead in the way into the corner, but on the way out it's a different story, so it basically means they're level, and everything that's happened is completely erased, but we're wheel to wheel as well for third, so Burgi's got the lead, Given, Jig, Armstrong looking for it as they slide over the curb and slide out wide. And now look at how tight this is as they come over the line. Meanwhile, battle for the lead out front. Webber Nerashto goes to the pit wall, in fact, as he tries to get the lead away from Burgi. Meanwhile, it's very nearly 3 wide behind. Jig is getting there. So Jig is alongside Armstrong, and Armstrong now finds themselves in the mix. But also keep an eye on George Given as well, whose line was very much tightened, but he's going to try and get the advantage of it now. Given trying to get past Armstrong. Can he send the car in without making contact? Just about. He's on the power, he's wheel to wheel, he's alongside, and is he going to have this place? It's super tight between the two of them. They bang doors. And now Given, inside line. And George Given, there you see him further back. Making their way by into the last few corners. And my word, is it close. Very tight, and Armstrong hangs on to it. This is absolutely what you love about this racing. It's never resolved. There's always more battling to be had, even once an overtake is complete. And George Given now. Can he, well, try and now make the move inside of turn number 1 as they make their way by, and George Given will be ahead because Armstrong will be in deep. Okay, so that's resolved. That is resolved in terms of that battle. Is the race resolved? Absolutely not. Do not go anywhere because there's still very much going on. If you've watched TDM races before, wink wink Silverstone specifically, either of the two races, you'll know it can go very much down to the final lap. And when it does go to the final lap, it's absolutely thrilling stuff. For now, the other drivers are also keeping us entertained. Armstrong has had a very interesting campaign so far. P5 in the standings, as I mentioned, 40 points level with Daniel. So, kind of battling with Daniel when it comes to this round of the championship. And of course, way ahead of Daniel, was 5th, now 4th into turn 1. Getting past George Given. But remember, George Given is the driver. As he spoke to us in the interviews 1 week ago, George Given is someone who's having to basically play catch-up. Didn't participate in the first 2 rounds. That's going to put him on the back foot majorly when you've already got a driver on 94 points, and that's your championship leader and your race leader at the moment, Webber Nerashto. So, here we go. Burgi looking for it. Armstrong, meanwhile, at the same time, on the inside of George Given, who is sent to brave it. He did brave it, but the line does not favour him. over the line, and the top two are going for it once again. A tenth, half a tenth, I don't even know, because that's how much it's changing. Our timing board, and you can see it's very close. Further behind, it's very close at the front of the field. No changes between our top two. What about Armstrong? He covers the middle. Given is forced all the way round as they run side by side, and they make their way through. And Armstrong is gonna be really pushed now by Given, whose line is very much put him on a, well, offensive line, I would say. That would kind of be a way, because, you know, it's kind of been just very, it would have been annoying. It would have been annoying if you are the other driver who's watching it happen. So, 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Here is Webber into turn 1, now looking to build the advantage. This is what he did in race 1. This is what we've not been able to see him do in round 1 and round 2. He did do it in race 1 today specifically. So what I'm trying to say is we've not seen it done by him so far. So I'm finding this really interesting. Is this something new? Is this something, what would even be the word to describe it? Is this something, a new skill? Something new that has been learnt here from Webber? Because if it is, then it is a deadly skill. And it is one that none of the drivers would have wanted him to get. Because he pulled away in race 1 after some battling earlier. Yes, we're going deeper into this race now. But it is very much still game on. So, very interesting. Let's see as they send it over the line. So they make their way through. And this is the penultimate lap of the race, if they manage to get it through on time. A lap time is a 1 minute 2. It's 1 minute 15 that we had on the clock as they came over the line. But is this something, well, something that Webber Nirashta has unlocked to even better his skill? And if it is, as I mentioned, it's something that the entire field wouldn't have wanted him to get, because he's made it 3 out of 3 in terms of pole positions. He mentioned to us about the races how it's always bunched up, and it bunching up all the way till the final stages meant that it was a 50-50 whether you'd win the race or you'd finish second or you'd finish even third or fourth. But today, he's trying to ignore all of that, and he's trying to basically just get himself to P1 with ease. Not a battle in the end. The gap is 8 tenths. Can he keep it well controlled for one more lap? At the Red Bull Ring, Webber Nirashta comes over the line and makes his way onto the final lap of the race. Sandy Burgi is in second, John Jig is in third, and then it is Given, Armstrong, Buck, Richu and Daniel the order. But will I be saying those words once they make their way over the line on the final lap? The closest battle is between Given and Armstrong for P4 and P5, but Webber Nirashta is not under any pressure. And after all of the talk about how races were being won in the final seconds, Webber Nirashta is like, well, take that. He's unlocked something new. He's come even more dangerous than before, and he is on course to come across the line to win 5 races out of 6 this season. This is the final corner on the last lap, and Webber Nirashta will do the double at the Red Bull Ring at Austria. Webber Nirashta wins. An absolutely fantastic performance as he weaves across the line, and he's beaten Burgi by 6 tenths of a second. John Jig, his podium streak may not continue any longer, but he at least does have another podium to add to make it 5 out of 6 for him. George Given is P4 on debut in terms of his second race now. Armstrong is P5. Oscar Buck, another debutant for this round, P6. Richu is 7th. And then it will be Daniel over the line in P8. What a race that was. Absolutely Fantastic racing, and now, if we can get a good camera down there, the drivers enjoying themselves with celebrations, as they should, because they've put in the effort absolutely brilliantly, and they deserve to stand in those positions that they are in. We're going to get interviews in a moment as well, but for the moment, I'm hoping this still works from last week. Yes, it does. Hello, everyone. I was hoping that it still works from last week for the reason of course, as I mentioned, I wasn't... we had some late changes due to some issues as well, which wasn't any of our faults, really. It is just how the specific server works, and, you know, we kind of weren't aware. So, I will get myself... Now, I need to run to the interview room, because, of course, we had everything set up, and then we kind of had to stop it due to some of the lag. I'm happy this screen works. Yeah, you know, I love this screen. I love this screen. It's just me, you, our JBEsports name as well, in its absolutely beautiful colours, and our great background. And, of course, my bedroom as well. And my lip mic. Of course, giving absolutely everything to mention. Right, now it is time I find this server, okay? Do not worry, guys, I'm not going on here to play games. I am just wanting to locate myself into the stage. I'm currently a guest, or well, an audience. So, if I go onto the stage, and then I will find myself as a, well, interviewer? But it is time for my interviewees to now come in. So, let's try this. We're gonna speak, first of all. Now, here's the thing, because of course, so we had this game last week where I couldn't actually, well, I wouldn't say a game, but basically I couldn't actually remember, drivers, well, I couldn't notice, of course, driver names to Discord names, because they're different. So I want to see if I remember them. I want to say, HC is Weber Nirashto. I'm trying to think about who did we have to guess 1 week ago. So we're gonna have a go at that. We're gonna have a go. Let's see whether I'm gonna win this. Or get this right. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, at least I did win while it wasn't correct. Well, it wasn't your actual name. There we go. There we go. Okay, well, first of all, Weber, 3 out of 3 in terms of pole positions. As you said last week, you know, I guess we can already kind of put you down for all the poles really this season, because you absolutely nailed qualifying, and if you don't take pole, then it means you're not actually going to win any of the races. But you did take pole, and you did do the double, and you did win. Ooh. Okay. Very, very interesting as well. So do you think possibly with a normal setup and not the controller, do you think Sandeep possibly would have had the better of you there?
This is not a single-seater, but it's easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
True. True. The middle of the car that George says in the chat. I mean, to be honest, one of the reasons I'm absolutely all for a TCR is because I sit on the side of the car, just because I drove single-seater in sim racing so much, so like my vision and perception just get tortured. Tortured? That's not the right word. It's the right word to say. Well, it's basically wrong for my perception.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel nice to be over the car.
Yeah. So basically, that's what George is saying. Any more questions, George? I mean, you're coming for my job at the moment now. Yes. Absolutely. Fire away. Fire away if anyone has any questions for Weber. So, Weber, then, in terms of some of the battling that we have seen. Oh, well, actually, sorry, I'm gonna have to completely abandon my question. George Given wants to know, how are you so fast?
I don't know. I mean, probably because I do a lot of practice on this. Because I work from home, so that gives me an advantage to basically chuck a few laps on the server whenever I don't work, in between work. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite a good answer. And George Given, to be fair, that's a good question because you made him think about it. When you make the drivers think about it, then, it is quite a good question as well. So we, of course, asked you the question in terms of who do you think is going to be rivaling you for the championship this season? Has your answer changed at all? Is it pretty much still the same?
Well, I think Matt has now not done this round, and Bergim is round 2. So I think John and me are like 2 of the people at the front that have raced all of the rounds. And to be fair, George was quite fast today, like really fast. I believe it is George's debut as well.
Yes, it is.
I don't think he didn't do the previous 2 rounds. So if he can keep that pace up, he could definitely challenge for podium, if not wins, in the I don't know, 6 or how many other rounds that are remaining. Because I don't know. I'm traveling to a different place next Monday, so whether I will be here for Nürburgring is a question mark so far.
Well, wishing you safe travels, and also, whether you're not here, I hope you, if you aren't here, then I hope you do enjoy whatever you get up to, and we'll look forward to having you back as well. But if you are here, then I guess we'll look forward to seeing you racing. Thank you very much, Weber, and well done on pretty much another great domination show by you.
Thank you, Ami. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was Weber Nurashto for us. Now, George Given was asking the interviews, but now it is time for me to ask him some questions as well. Any other drivers, by the way, if you want to throw some questions to him, then feel free, because, well, I guess you can put him under a bit of pressure in the same way that he made Weber ask some questions. So, right, now we wait for George Given to come up. Hello, George, can you hear us? I don't think the answer is yes.
Push to talk is on, so I have to go to my wheel and press start to talk.
Fun. Sounds very, very fun indeed. Luckily, I don't need to do that. It would be quite annoying because I'm just absolutely walking everywhere in this commentary box at the moment. Or well, I guess bedroom you could say, but we'll pretend it's a commentary box. Anyway, George, first of all, you told me about just wanting a podium at some point this season, etc. On your debut, first race, on the podium, how does it feel?
Not only I'm happy about it, but it was a very exciting race. From watching it last week, it looked fun, and it definitely is fun. A lot of battling, especially at the top. I enjoyed the battling because it's kind of in my same sort of level. Apart from P1 and 2, they were quite fast.
Yeah, absolutely. They were very, very quick indeed. But in terms of, for anyone who wasn't joining us last time, coming into this event, can you remind us about what your expectations actually were? What were you expecting coming into today? So let's say when you woke up this morning, or if you weren't thinking about TDM at the time, maybe sooner to 7 PM, what were you thinking heading into today? What did you really want to, end up finishing by the time we had this conversation?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't do much practice because I didn't expect it to be this sort of level. I didn't expect it to be this difficult, but it was quite difficult. I believe if I did more practice, I probably could have potentially got a better position. On the second race, I I battled way too much. I didn't really want to battle because I wanted to catch up to P1, 2, and 3. But I guess that's not how it is sometimes, and you just got to deal with it. But even if I did want to get into P1, 2, 3, which I did, and it didn't happen, it was still fun with the battling. Yeah.
Well, really, really great to hear, I guess, some of that insight into what you kind of thought and in terms of practice levels. Now that you know that the competition is this high, will you be possibly putting in maybe those extra few laps to possibly rival Weber or Sandeep at any point, or even John Jig?
If I have time, I will, because I had dinner before this, so I wasn't really able to practice. But I think next time I'll definitely try and put a bit more practice in, and hopefully I'll be able to get up maybe P1 and 2 potentially.
Well, it sounds very, very exciting, that idea. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether that will happen for you. Well done on today. Leaving your debut round, what's your final words heading into your next round, next time out?
Oh, sorry. I forgot about push to talk. Sorry, what was the question again? I forgot.
Well, I just wanted to now gather your thoughts on an overall basis of today, everything that's happened, and then your thoughts now heading into next week with a round of experience underneath you.
Well, now that I know the car, it's definitely much more different car to what I've driven. It handles so much more different to, let's say, like GT4. In my opinion, it feels so much more different. The inputs are more sensitive. It's difficult to tell when you start to spin. When you start to spin, it's kind of easy to get back, but it's kind of unnoticeable. But from this round, considering P3, I think obviously a lot more practice. I think I can probably push more. I'm not sure what track it is, but I think most of the tracks on this calendar I enjoy, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, mainly practice, hoping to get more practice in, and maybe get back up to get maybe a double podium, actually. That would be pretty good.
Yep, and to everyone watching on, as you can see on screen, round 4 will be at... No, we're going to run through the rest of the calendar in detail in a second. But thank you very much, George Given. Great to speak to you now, and we will hope to do it all over again next week with, hopefully some more podiums and possibly even a win. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
That was George Given, and now it is time for another guessing game, everybody. Here we go. I'm going to say that the final person that we have in call is Daniel. Because I remember saying something about that the Discord username starts with a D, so I'm going to link it to a D name, and I made a point of that. So I'm going to guess it's Daniel. Let's invite him up and find out the answer to the most important question that you'll hear today.
You would be right again.
Absolutely fantastic. There we go. Well, first of all, thank you very much for being patient as well, and waiting as well, listening to all of us and some of your fellow drivers ramble on. But what were your thoughts then coming out of today, the 2 races, and then of course the qualifying that we had to start the day?
The pace of everyone was incredible today. Couldn't quite put a lap together in qualifying, that meant I started on the back foot, but put everything I had into it and just couldn't quite get there this time.
Yeah, absolutely. That is fair enough as well. So, in terms of not being able to get there, what do you think kind of stopped you? Was it some of the practice, or was it just not having the feel for the circuit as well?
I think it was a feel for mainly the circuit, if I were to guess, but I'd kind of hope not, because I've probably practiced the most out of everyone in the group for this, so...
Ooh. Well, there is still some positives. Yeah, still some positives, I guess. I guess you came into this fourth in the standings, and it's it's another round which, you know, I guess will kind of ebb and flow your position. Now, you are involved in a direct fight with Ishmael Armstrong, who's also on 40 points, or was coming into today. Of course, the points are going to change very much after the 2 races, but I guess right now you're in a battle for 4th. Is that where you want to end up, or do you think you could possibly try and sneak maybe into the top 3? And to be fair, you will, of course, due to Matt not racing anymore, but do you think maybe even 2nd could be possible?
I think it's definitely possible. I just need to get used to rear-wheel drive, because most of the cars that I've driven before this are front-wheel drive.
Makes sense. Well, in terms of then next time out, we're over to Nürburgring. Looking forward to it?
Definitely. Poses a unique challenge, and it'll be my first time again doing the track. I think the only one I've done before was Silverstone, so everything's new experiences for me here.
New experiences and a step into the unknown. What we like to hear. Well, we'll look forward to see how you get on there. So have a good week. Enjoy, of course, the real life motorsport that is also on. And we will speak to you in a week's time.
Thank you. Speak to you in a week as well.
Thank you very much. That was Daniel, everyone. The final driver who we will get to speak to here today. And now it is the very, very sad, I guess, moment of the stream where I need to wrap up as well, because, you know, we've had quite a lot of fun, even though the technology was being slightly annoying. I think slightly would possibly be an understatement as well. Yeah, it is time to wrap up the stream. So, first of all, I'd like to thank all the management team once again for all of their effort. I'd also like to thank JT, who got everything set up to basically broadcast this. But yeah, with how things worked, and as he wasn't listed in the server as a like Steam ID, I'm not going to dive into the complex things, the complex details for you. But yeah, we had a bit of a miscommunication regarding that. So as he wasn't listed, he couldn't actually do it. So he got set up realistically for nothing. Had to sacrifice, I'm sure, some of his hot dinner as well, which is not ideal. But hopefully we'll be able to make it up to him in a week's time with some great racing, because, you know, it's definitely quite the job getting here. But then when you are here, it is 4 wide, 3 wide, constant racing action. And, you know, if you watched today and were like, well, that was thrilling, just go back and watch a Silverstone, because I'd say out of the 3 so far, I think Silverstone absolutely does top it. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm going to say thank you very much to Joshua Birch. I'm going to say very much a big thank you as well to JT, as I was just doing. And the final thank you goes to you for joining us and watching. We'll be back in a week's time over at Nürburgring, and then we will be over to Vallelunga, Laguna Seca, Silverstone National, Brands Hatch Indy, and Imola, where we'll round out our season, and we will hope to have your company across all of those races. But for now, from myself, Omi, and Joshua Birch, and also JT, it is goodbye.